Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Dreamers Game 1 where we are playing Yomi. This is turn 86. We're getting on up there. Okay, jumping into things real quick. Evocation 6 completed. That's going to be pretty okay for us. I don't think Evocation 6 means as much to us as Evocation 5 did. Let's take a quick look. So Evocation 5 gets us things like Storm if we want to utilize that Orb Lightning. It's pretty good. Falling Fires is pretty good. Both of which we can make relatively easy use of. Earthquake is something that we can make use of with our Troll Kings and some of our Dione. Shadow Blast is an amazing spell, etc. What do we get on 6? Flame Eruption is really good on like off-casting AI, right? Especially for things like Diones sometimes. Sometimes even like fire random Onishugos, because you can, I think you can Phoenix power at fire 1. Let's remember. Yeah, it's fire 2, so never mind. You can give them a gem and have them do that, but it's far less reliable. So. Wrathful Skies has some uses that we could potentially see. Magma Eruption is actually okay on some of our Diones. That actually will work and do pretty okay. Mind Hunt is something that we can kind of do a little bit of. Blast of Unlife is just not as good. Shadow Blast, it's not. It's a completely different spell, but still. I guess Wailing Winds, out of all of this, Wailing Winds is actually good, and we can utilize it relatively easily with any air random Dione and like a Skull Staff, so that's probably the best thing that we're getting out of 6, and I guess that's Wailing Winds is pretty fucking strong, so pretty good. Gonna take us, we will have 7 next turn. The turn after that we will not have 8. So what else do we got going on? We have, well, Astral Corruption, and you know me, I gotta, I've missed things. I missed moving people off of things last turn. I talked about that very briefly, so there's gonna be that, and then there's also, I like to just poke the beast, or risk getting my hand caught in the cookie jar, however you want to look at it. So I of course am gonna continue to cast things. So we've got a couple of horror attacks. Let's take a look at them. Our first one is actually a very important one. This is our sorceress Kathleen, who we empowered in Earth, and we have relatively kitted out right now. She was making for us another Ring of Returning. So here's the deal. We knew that Ring of Returning is not a cheap item to make, necessarily. So we knew that there was a risk of her getting attacked. So we put items on her, right, with the hope that, okay, she's just got to not get Soul Slayed or one-shot, right? So let's see how that turns out for us. We've got a couple of Soul Thorns here. They do have a Soul Rending Claw. It is armor negating. I don't know that this... I think this part is armor negating. I don't know that the Soul Rending Claw actually is. We can check that. So Kathleen's gonna Soul Slay some stuff. Fair. Lightning bolt some stuff. There's some actual like low level hit for 0 damage, then hit for 20 points of damage. See, the first one was an 11 plus 8. Versus prot roll of 23 plus 6. for 0 points of damage. So that was the hit in the arm. That's actually really interesting to see these effects, right? So Soul Rend hit for 0 points of damage. In hitting the Soul Rend, it also Soul Rending Claw, it also procced Soul Rend. So I did not know that. I did not realize that's actually really interesting. I did not realize that those were separately calculated. So it's almost as if each one is 2 attacks. So the Soul Rending Claw did no damage, but the Soul Rend, which looks like it does the base 11, but is also armor negating, right? That had a good roll, so 27 versus its armor negating, so it ignores my armor. If it was not, we actually would have taken no damage from that as well. So 20 points of damage. Did not need to roll that high, right? Like, rolled really well. And boom, one-shot us. That is fucking unfortunate. Okay. It's let me make it clear. It's unfortunate. It's not, oh my god, the end of the world. We have other sorceresses sometime. And we have a shit ton of earth income, so losing an earth-empowered sorceress that we're intending on, making golems with, it sucks, but it's not like, oh my god, the end of the world. So we did that. This is gonna be slightly weird in order because Kumlok did do a manifestation, and we will be checking that manifestation. But we're gonna check and see if he survived his horrors first, because we're doing a horrors first. So 3 spine membranes. Spine membranes aren't really that big of a deal unless you get paralyzed by their freaking Mind Blast initially. So let's see what happens. Okay, he's got some skeletons out. Resists, more skeletons, great. Resists, more skeletons, great. Okay, now he's now he's stunned. The Mind Blast did not do any damage, interestingly. So he did not trigger his Ring of Returning. This many skeletons will probably just kill them. Oh, and he's back anyways. Yeah. So, all Gucci. So I think in that situation, Kumlok was pretty safe. So he wins. We had a sorceress. We had a individual casting Gnome Lore. We had a sorceress casting Auspex. The sorceress gets caught on the Auspex. Here's another sorceress getting attacked by horror mantises. If they get to her, they'll kill her. That's almost a guarantee. Horror mantises are very killy. Casting Frozen Heart, that's actually interesting. Frozen Heart does... did not affect. Dead. Okay, so that's a huge waste. 165 gold, slow to recruit, very slow to recruit, like 4 turns to recruit. Sorceress. That was pointless, so whoops. I pointed out last turn that I forgot to take her and our Gnome Lore caster off, but is what it is. I guess I say I forgot to take them off, but I was very flippant about them being there. And then we have a Naminari who's just getting attacked because of, not because of casting anything, just because of horror marks off of Lightless Lanterns. All right, so we have Lightless Lantern over here. This would be like a hero's play if a Naminari killed 3 Belly Maws. I mean, if that web head hit, if she had been able to oh, you gotta keep them immobile. No, you gotta get the other one. You gotta get that one. Get the closest one. Oh god. Shit. You need to vaporize. No. Oh no. Oh, he's coming around. Are you Oh, he's just fatigued. There's no way. Fuck. That was such a nice showing. That was such a goddamn good try from Asami over here. Oh man. All right. Anyways, so yay, horrors are a thing now. We'll be playing around with them every turn for the rest of eternity, I'm sure. So cool. It'll be fun. Horrors win ratio this turn. We won once and we lost 3 times. Oof. Put that down real quick. Alright, back to the remotes. We only had one remote this turn, and that was Kumlok with his manifestation. So Kumlok survived. Let's see if his manifestation did anything. So specifically, we were targeting not the capital or the other big province that they still have a fort on, but we were targeting the province where the smaller stack of Ether Warriors are, with the hope of sniping an Ether Lord, potentially, right? So, let's see what we get. We got something. We got... He just blinked right in, right as I paused. We got Blink Boy! Oh, shit. Okay. I don't know how this is gonna fucking go. So... Holy Pyre... Ooh, he fucking zapped us. What? I feel like the AI is fucked up on that. I feel like the fly AI knew where he was going to blink and just flew there. And that I don't think that's fair. I don't think it should work. Oh my god, we just smacked the shit out of him. 13 damage on a hit. Okay. Let's cast in Holy Pyre again. Holy fuck. Alright, well I guess... Oh, uh-oh. Oh, we got him with the Bane Blade. That... He's undead, though. Does he... He's also taking damage for each... Oh, he's fucked. Oh my god. We caught the Bane guy and killed him! Holy shit, that's cool. Alright, well, remotes for this turn. One manifestation win versus Ermor. Very cool. Very cool. We snagged the Bane, the Bane guy, the Bane Blinker, and got him. That's very neat. We did some limited site searching. Gnome Lore found nothing, Auspex found nothing, and got a Sorceress killed, so that was not worth it. We got 12 Blood Slaves. Our blood economy is in the toilet because of the Armageddons. So there's that. We've got... we have taken control of the province of Kolar Megar. We've met no resistance. And then we attacked in Pannonia. Let's see how this goes. So we've got our forces arrayed over here, right? A couple of Dionis, a handful of Co-Onis, a bunch of Trolls, several Liches that are prepped and ready to do a whole bunch of Horde of Skeletons casting. We have 2 Fairy Queens in here to do some sketchy, like Mass Flight, Mass Regeneration, Serpent's Blessing, that type of stuff. Yeah, let's see what we're up against. We've got... a little stack of Ether Warriors. Let's see how we get. Huh. The Bane doesn't have any magic leadership. Yeah, they don't have any leadership. They're just routing. And because they're just routing, we're not triggering gem usage. What the fuck? Like, these are valuable units. I feel like Ermor has maybe just kind of not stopped playing, right? Like every turn they have been doing things, but I've kind of spoken about how the things that they're doing are very ineffectual or like half cocked, you know. Apparently, this group has been sitting here for a few turns, right? And I just assumed that they were trying to trap me, right? Like they had seen that fight with the Dionis, and they'd seen, oh, yeah, our Ether Warriors can cut a Dione up if they get the chance, right? So let's just, let's not move. Let's just sit here, and when he comes in and tries to raid, we will intercept. That was my assumption of what was going on. Now I'm starting to think that it might be more likely that he just abandoned them there. Maybe, like, he lost the commanders. I guess he might have lost the commanders in that fight. I think I killed an Ether Lord in that fight. I don't remember. I might have I don't fucking know. That's like, his capital is right next to that province. He absolutely should have been able to move something out. Maybe he did move something out. Maybe he moved something out with magic leadership and then accidentally killed it with his own Armageddons, right? Like, there's the possibility that something like that happened. That just seems so wasteful. I don't know. All right, well, we didn't even really kill that many of them, because they all just immediately ran, but we knocked out 3 of the Ether Warriors. Whatever, I guess. Like, that's such a strange situation to me. I don't really know how to react to that. Battles versus Urmor or provinces, however you want to look at it. 2 wins, 0 losses. Like, I'm just like I don't know how to react to that one. Got a text in a moment. Okay. Events. Let's look at some events. We're gonna have a bunch of rebirth events, so rebirth, 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 rebirth. In Sulfuria, there's an enchanted mill in Sulfuria, which normally produces 1 air gem. The enchanted mill is grinding its magic like never before. This is cool. I don't know how many events associated to magic sites there are like this, but I feel like there should be more of them, right? I think it would be really cool, right, if more of the magic sites that you got, like, had events tied to them, even if they were just basic, like, oh, it produced an extra 3 gems this turn. Cool, you know? That would be really neat. Even if you just took already existing events and just kind of like tied them to magic sites, I think that it would feel way more thematic in my mind, right? It would feel way more interesting, you know, to have a fire site produce more fire gems this turn or something like that, you know? That's just kind of cool. Anyways, random. I think this is neat. Plus we get 7 air gems. Very, very nice. In the below, a handful of magic gems have been found in a deep ravine, plus 4 earth gems. Do we have anything in the below? So there's not a single fucking magic site in the below, by the way. I mean, there might be a fire site here, or a blood site, but, like, this is a cave mountain, and it's got fucking nothing, which seems super fucking weird. Whereas Zemiki over here has 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 5 gems produced and additional stuff. Anyways, I was gonna say it kind of like piggybacking off of the idea that I just said, right? Like if in the below it had an iron cliff, right? Like it'd be cool if they found 4 additional earth gems in the iron cliffs, right? It wouldn't change anything as to how this necessarily was working, right? But it would be cool. Because I'd be like, oh yeah, badass, the magic sight that I have did more for me. Cool. You know, it would just it just feel good, I think. Anyways. Events, that's it. Air +7, Earth +4. Not bad. I will never sneer at additional gems. We got some rituals, or well, we've got an extreme lack of money, is what we got. We've got a little over 100 between our actual income and our upkeep, which is bad. We've got a couple of things happening this turn. Some of them are big things. We're actually going to talk about Urmor first. We're going to come over here. We have breached Zox. We're storming the castle with a couple of different things. We're storming the castle mostly with a small contingent of units and a bunch of Dione, as well as a Troll King casting Army of Lead. Right? The majority of the rest of things are just kind of whatever. I don't expect there to be a lot of resistance here in Zox. We do have people sitting on the fortification just in case. I think the majority of the resistance is here in Urmor and in God's Tomb Mountains. So, we are also pulling the trigger and jumping onto Urmor this turn. There could be a big fight here. If there is, this is what is going to be here. We are going to have a fair amount of trolls, right? A little bit of Ko-Oni. We're going to have a bunch of Horde of Skeletons castings. We're going to have Mass Regeneration be up. We're going to have Mass Flight be up. We're going to have Army of Lead be up. And we are flying in a Vampire Lord to do Life After Death as well. So, not a crazy amount of stuff, honestly. If Urmor actually puts mages to work and patrols his capital this turn and does all of the things that he should be able to do at turn 86, right? Then it very likely annihilate everything here. What I'm kind of banking on, and coming to this realization, how I've kind of been playing this since Silver Wall, is I'm kind of banking on Urmor just not, right? I could take my time. I could bring in more reinforcements. I could set myself up better. But Urmor has shown nothing in the way of actually scripting things or actually fielding a resistance or doing really much of anything, truth be told. So I'm honestly kind of just banking on the idea that maybe Urmor just doesn't really do anything. They sit in their capital, they let me siege them down, and in a turn or two, I have more stuff here, I have more reinforcements here, and that saves me a turn or two from having to consolidate elsewhere and then bring in a good, formidable stack on its own. Which, I'm kind of like, fine. Okay, whatever. There's something about the mentality of the game. It's such a long, like, Dominions in general is such a long game. It is difficult to retain passion for it in the moment, week after week, as you're playing through a 80, 100, 120 turn game, right? A game that might take you the better part of 6 months. Because your life, you're going through a lot of different stuff. You're gonna have highs and lows. You're gonna have highs and lows in life, right? Things that you're going through. Sometimes you're gonna be really high energy, and then you're gonna have highs and lows in the actual game, right? Like, putting so much time and effort into a game like this, like, it starts to tie some of your emotional state into the game. So when you're doing well, when you're pulling off cool things, when you're being victorious, right? Like, that can be a big high to chase, right? It can also be a really low low if you're having a rough time of it. But there's also a different set of kind of like energy that comes with playing a game like this, and that's the energy of like what energy you're interacting with and feeling, right? Like, what energy is coming back at you. Because you can be in a game and you can just be slaughtering people, and it be a very kind of meh game for you. If there's no challenge, if nothing is happening, it's like playing single player sometimes, right? Like, if you're playing single player on a low difficulty setting, the AI just kind of rolls over, so it's kind of meh, right? That can be the same thing in multiplayer games if no one is willing or capable of challenging you. And it can also just be a really bad fit if you are the low player on the totem pole, right? Like, if you are less skilled than all of the other players in a game and you just get smashed and it feels like no matter what you do, it doesn't, you're just trounced, that can also feel really bad. But what I find more common is a situation kind of like this. Not where you're slaughtering everyone or everyone's able to just roll you over, right? I find you get into situations in Dominions where things kind of stagnate, right? Sometimes you're in a good mood, sometimes you're in a bad mood, sometimes you have a win, sometimes you have a loss, right? But when you run into a war with an enemy, and that enemy just kind of like doesn't really do a whole lot, it can drain your energy. It can drain your will to play the game. So, for example, when I jumped into this war with Ermor, I did so pretty haphazardly. And I expected Ermor, right, like my initial forays, I expected Ermor to respond to, and that's kind of how I play, right? Like, which is not a great way to play, by the way. But I expected Ermor to, like, fuck up some of my thugs or super combatants, destroy an army or two of mine, and then me have to be like, okay, I've seen what Ermor can do, now I gotta figure out what can I do against it, right? Like, it's very responsive rather than preemptive, which is not a great way to play, I admit. But that was kind of the mentality. But what's happened is over and over and over again, Ermor has just been very passive and or unimaginative, it feels. This is not a knock at the player, by the way. This is talking about the concept of, like, energy in games and things. So I have found myself over the last several turns, basically since Silverwall. Silverwall was a high point because it was like, yeah, destroyed an entire army with a single super combatant. Woo, did it. That was cool. But since then, and since not really having anything happened, I very much felt like it's just kind of the, okay. And now there's just this drain on how I feel about the game and what I am willing to put into the game. So, all of that is to explain this kind of concept of this type of attack. Like I said, if Ermor scripts what they have, patrols their capital, is ready to put up a real defense, Ermor will likely destroy everything here. I just don't expect them to. Right? And that's kind of like a feels bad attitude, I think, right? But at this point, doing it that way, if I'm right, is gonna save me like 2 turns against doing more of this stuff, right? Versus okay, we're slow, we're methodical, we take Zox, we move into Kolar Mega together, or we move into Belmar, we bring in more forces, we bring in some more mage support for some of the specific things we can do, then we, etc., etc., right? My energy and my mentality at this point is just kind of like, fuck it, just attack. I doubt they're gonna do anything, and if they do, okay, right? So that's unfortunate. That's a bad mentality to have. I do think, I will throw this out there, I do think a part of that mentality stems from the concept of astral corruption going up last turn. I've had bad experiences with astral corruption, not to the point to where I think astral corruption just ruins the game, especially now that I know more of how to work with astral corruption. That being said, don't play like I do. Learn from my mistakes. We're attacking Urmor. We're probably going to take Zox this turn unless they just have something crazy stashed there. That is what it is. Other big things that are happening this turn, and these are I'm actually excited about. I'm hopeful. This is kind of like an energy, again, another reason why I wanted to talk about kind of like the energy of a game. This is a different direction, and I'm hoping it's going to re-energize me. And that is Helheim has called us in. Helheim has basically pulled the trigger and said, hey, I don't have much time. You need to start taking things. So, we are doing just that this turn. We are launching very low commitment raids into some of Fomoria's old lands. And very specifically, we are parking a relatively big force on Pistina, which I'm told is basically free of anything. So, we are out to get our throne back, which we'll be very happy about because of the 200 gold. And that is going to trigger more things, right? Ubar is not going to be happy about that. We already have a very tentative situation with Ubar anyways, prior to them going back in with Helheim, when Helheim was beating Lanka and Ubar came back in. Right before that, Ubar had, ended our nap and we were going to go to war. It was going to be a thing. That was prior to the Urmor situation, or right at the start of the Urmor situation. But, we have a nap now, but I think Ubar is going to see this and be like, okay, well, the gloves are going to have to come off now. So, this is probably going to be a turn where, or not this turn, but this is going to be a turn in the game where things start to pick back up, and I'm actually relatively excited about that. We are not attacking on the western front yet because Helheim has asked that some of these provinces be left alone for now because they're trying to do things in them, or they need them for money or resources, etc., right? But they have asked me to get over there, stand by, because that's not going to last for very long, okay? That is another reason why I am spurred into the concept of being very blasé and kind of brash in my attack on Urmor, is because I kind of want to hurry it the fuck up. So, I've talked about this for a really, really long time now. We don't have very much more. Let's talk about what's actually happening in the game. I have no money, so there's no recruitment going on. Rituals are very limited. We have rituals for this turn. We have 1 gnome lore, 9 corpse constructions, and 2 manifestations. So let me jot that down real quick. The gnome lore is legitimately just because I am a glutton for punishment, and this is a bad choice. Don't do dumb shit like this, right? Like, I have no reason to be fishing for more gnome lore, and a pair of earth boots is still a valuable item to me, right? Like, take this off of him, and put it in my freaking treasury and use it on something that actually matters. That's not what I'm doing currently. So, do as I say, not as I do. But, maybe he'll find something. The 9 corpse constructions we've talked about, why those are, I don't expect those to get got, but if they do, whatever. Erd and Ermor, so... Erd. Erd. What? At Erd. 169. Where's the fucking find key? It's G, by the way. The find key is G. Erd. Well, that's probably a misclick. I'm probably because these are already done. These turns are done. I'm probably misclicking, and I might be trying to snipe my own seeking here. I say my own seeking, but actually, I don't know that you can target your own people. So this is probably just going to come back as a fail. So, whoops! We've got 2 manifestations. Ignore that. It's fine. I'm sure. And then we are forging another skull staff so we can do more manifestations. Our other manifestation caster got gimped 2 turns ago by an Armageddon, I believe. And then... I didn't even say... We're forging 1 skull staff. That's it. We're not forging anything else. Done. And then we're only really doing one other thing, and that is we are empowering an Earth, Kiersey, the sorceress, to replace the Earth that we lost. And we are probably going to be immediately... I say probably. I should be careful with that terminology. My intention is to turn around and make a damn golem, right? Empower... Put the boosters on that we need. Make a golem. Move forward. If this game is going to go longer, and we're going to have to deal with astral corruption, golems are going to be a very vital part of that situation. Fortunately, right, like, we have a very good earth income, so empowering is honestly whatever. That is a 5 gem. It costs 50 earth gems to empower someone in Earth 1. We get 45 a turn. Don't really care. What's more concerning is the astral pearls, right? Because I don't think 14 astral pearls is going to be really great for golems, considering that, we don't even get 2... Or we don't even get 1 every 2 turns. It will take us 3 turns. Plus, you typically need something like a Starshine Skullcap for golems to be really good. So that's another 10. So 40. Our Astral Pearl income is unfortunately bad. Unfortunately bad. It's the worst one we have, actually. Wow. That's... Oop. Okay, anyways. That's it. That's it for the turn. Feeling low energy about Ermor. Hoping it just ends soon. But feeling optimistic and high energy about the idea of jumping in on Helheim. And then... I say jumping in on Helheim, but really I mean the end game. Like... When Helheim falls, when I'm done with Ermor, it's going to be me, Ubar, Lunka, and a very small relay. Just starting to sound very similar. Me, someone, a big Lunka, and a small relay. Oh, fuck. Not again. Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.